Hello, this is Jer. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included. In the last episode, I experimented with a biobuilder. Today, we are sending hydrogen into my rocket here with the idea I want a cooling line. So I've got a ceramic insulated pipe right here. The rest of it's just normal pipe. We've got a line going all around. So let's actually put that together. It's going to go in and visit this area. In order to keep this guy cool, this is going to be cooling off the hydrogen because we're going to need some water. So let's jump that in now. Same idea, insulated ceramic pipe right here. So make sure we don't change that. I'll have some water dumped inside this. Of course, we'll want to make sure we close this guy off. So what are we cooling off? It's essentially these tiles. Everything is over 700 degrees. That's because I melted the side of this rocket and able to actually build out and around. So we'll start off today by dropping in some water and as well some hydrogen inside this rocket. We're watching some water be dumped in here. So this is what's going to keep this thermoregulator running. Don't need a lot, just a little bit, and we'll turn this back off again. So we destroyed some of the equipment up here, which I used to melt the rockets, and that caused a little bit of an issue. We got some overheating. So to stop it from getting any worse, I'm going to make some mesh tiles here, so any of the material can just stand up in space, but we're going to take our cooling line to cool off this zone, so I don't want my atmosphere checkpoints. Stations to take damage from heat. This first one already is actually. So hopefully the dupes are going to go through this setup pretty quickly and get this fixed. Okay, a little bit of damage here. But our cooling line is now going through. Let's see what that has done temperature-wise. It's bringing it down to more comfortable range. Got the mesh tiles here, so we shouldn't get any further heating. I think we're going to be okay from this point. Wishing I didn't make this out of lead, but I did. Because lead takes damage much earlier. If I had made this out of iron, I don't think it'd be having this issue. Well, I'd still have to fix this, but there wouldn't have been any damage. But I think we'll be able to go back to inside this rocket. Where are we with that? I think we've got enough water there. Let's stop that. But we still want some method to keep this steam turbine cool, so we've got to dump a little bit of liquid here. Just a very small amount. And I've got my radiant hydrogen pipe that's going to go through here eventually. Alright, so forgot automation line. So it's much easier to do this before this is a big steam vent. So we'll do this right now. This is essentially going to control whether the thermal echo tuner is on or not based on temperature, setting it be a comfortable temperature for the dupes eventually, but mainly just keeping this area cool so that this guy can keep running. Now, at some point, I'm going to be sealing this off. And that's a big deal because anything that is done in here I won't be able to do. And I realize there's one other thing. I don't suspect this is going to take on so much heat that this will turn to steam that's hot enough. But just in case, we're putting some liquid on top of this guy. We're putting radiant pipe in here. And that'll keep this guy cool. Now, even if this isn't needed for cooling off this rocket, it will be needed much later on when I have this rocket set up and the dupes have machinery in that are generating a little bit of heat. So it's not a bad idea to do anyways. That's going to be enough liquid. So this area has cooled back off, thankfully. Going to change this out for iron or something else. At least the first two. Not expecting this to happen again, but just abundance of caution. While that's going on, I've got this door blocking any dupes from... I'm short metal. Which is a little annoying, actually. I guess maybe we're not doing that after all. Never mind. A little bit of steel. I'm not using steel for that. Okay, alright, we'll put that back and let the dupes inside this. Inside the rocket, we're nearly set up to seal this area off and start dumping some liquid. Going to put a vent right here. Ideally would have made this out of steel, but we're actually short. We're also short of ceramic. Alright, let's connect this. Let's just not change that. But now these pipes aren't connected. That's, how do I connect these two things without... Maybe I have to let them build it first. Alright. So we're sealing this area off. This is a big deal. It means I can't fix anything if I did anything wrong over here. But I see some water that's going to come down here, continually splash down. I need some initial water. So let's turn this on. Okay, hold on. Do a save, because this is one of those moments. It is very nice to have a save just before you go on any further. So we're going to connect this pipe after all. Do that right here. Don't want that changed. We'll keep that as ceramic. Is that connected? Yes, it is. Okay, so now we need to go over here and reconnect this so we get water going in. Water is on the way. Let's have a look here. Temperature is pretty hot. Steam turbines are happy. It's this one that's going to take on the heat initially. But we should see some water going. We're in a vacuum area, so this should be all steam as it is. Yes, very hot steam. Steam turbine is starting to take effect, which is great. We should see some additional liquid go in there, and at some point I'm going to stop the water going in. I don't need to continually supply water. That's the whole idea, is this kind of takes care of itself. We don't have to go very long, actually. I'm going to say that's pretty much enough. We'll cut that off right there. Awesome! So this is my rocket, which I can now build outside here because these two tiles are open. And it's starting to it's already dropped significantly in places. It's close to 500 at the top because water's landing down here. It's cooling these tiles off first, around 200 or so. Steam turbine is going to continue to drop the temperature until we get about 125. I think that's when it starts to shut off, at which point I'll have to switch to an alternate line for cooling. But hydrogen is going around, making sure that this guy stays nice and cool. We've got this thermal aqua tuner running to make sure that occurs. And we will let this run. Inspecting my heat exchange system. So I've got polluted water that's very cold going through here. And that is transferring its heat or coolness, if you want to say, with the brine line that's going through. This is indicating whether that brine needs to be cool. If it does, it goes through here. And the nice thing about this is the polluted water that comes out of this actually doesn't have to be heated, because I've got this heating process if it's needed. So if either brine or the polluted water is too cold, it's going to sit in here and warm up. And we've got a liquid temporizer to take care of that. But this doesn't even need to run, because we've got this actual system going through and saying, hey, I need to actually cool the base. I'm going to take the heat from this, or the coolness from this, and just send it around the base to visit all the spots that need a bit of cooling. Let's have a temperature check. It's looking pretty comfortable. Incubator, which was getting warm earlier, is now happy. Green everywhere. Maybe the electrolyzers need a little bit of love, but we'll go and take care of that a little bit. This liquid here has been cooling off thanks to ice that has been melting. The only real hot spot, well, this is kind of designed hot spot here, but apart from that, a little bit of warm spot here, but not really that important. Might actually disable this. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have that excess brine be dumped off here and just allow for a little bit of cooling before more gets pumped up. Maybe I'll start to consume this liquid actually. And I'll put that into this system right here. Now just checking inside the rocket. We're about 150 degrees or less, so we're getting very close to the point where this thing's no longer going to be effective anymore. Which is decent. It's taken the temperature down, and now it's soon to the point where it makes more sense just to throw liquid on it. I'm going to wait a little bit longer, but we'll do that in a little bit. I've got an excess of reed fiber right now, thanks to these Drecos that are in here. I want to make a change here, but I'm waiting for some more glossy Drecos to hatch, so I'm actually going to run the incubator again. But in the meantime, we're making a lot of snazzy suits. I'm aiming for every single dupe to have one of these really soon. Tag teaming some effort here. Cuddle Pip is cuddling some of these glossy Dreklet eggs, and we're going to be incubating them one at a time. Go through this one. I think my stable is half full, 4 of 8. So decided, you know what, I'm going to incubate at least 4 more, and then I don't think we're going to need the incubator from this point on, at least for Drecos. Decided to build a critter condo for the glossy type of Drecos. Not sure that's really going to do anything, but there it is. Over on this asteroid, I'm creating some more natural tiles for sleet wheat. Probably don't really need it, kind of overdone it, but just throwing a few more just because the pinch of pepper plants were out of seeds, waiting for more seeds. So figure, why not do some sleet wheat while we wait for some pinch of pepper plant seeds. Handing out some snazzy suits. So we reached nearly 125. I'm going to say that is as much coolness as we're going to get. With a steam turbine, the rest of it is just going to be liquid water dumped on this thing so that it'll cool off. And here is some water landing inside a rocket. So it's already dropped 25 degrees, at least on this tile. The top's probably warmer, yeah, 130. Take a little bit of time, but eventually we're going to get this down to a comfortable spot. We'll lose all the steam, or the steam will turn to liquid anyway. And then we'll be able to get out here. We can get rid of the steam turbine, and we can actually set this rocket up with a proper living area, life-sustaining support, food storage, all that type of thing. Number of glossy Dreklets have been born. So I no longer need this incubator. This incubator can go away. This whole setup, let's turn it all off. We'll bust the wall down. What we're going to do, we're going to relocate all these critters. The glossy Dreklets, they're going to be brought over here. Eventually I'm going to have 8. I've got 6 of 8, so I just need 2 more of those. But all the other critters are going to be brought down to this room, the shearing station. And I'm going to set this up so that any eggs that are in here are going to be brought over. Now, one thing I don't know is how much I'm growing bristle blossom here. I don't know how many I need, so I've got 5. We're going to see how it goes once I get this full of 8. I may have to expand this. Maybe it's too much. I'll find out in time. But, yeah, so we're going to wrangle every single one of these and bring them to this room. Dupes. So this rocket has dropped temperature on the bottom here, but it's still very hot up here, and it seems that getting temperature across this little window made out of diamond is taking a bit longer. So what I'm going to do is just going to make a wall right here, all the way across, essentially going to be a floor for this area. That way water will start to accumulate here, and it will concentrate on cooling the upper portion of this rocket. So this floor is not even fully created yet. It's already having an effect on these tiles here. We may have the same thing with this. Though it's under 100 degrees, so that means we shouldn't see steam for much longer. So that's something. Oh, it is dropping temperature here, actually, so this may just work. I think we have reached the temperature that we want to get at. We're at 23 or so degrees. Let's stop water from going into the rocket anymore. So we'll cut that line going in. This water that is there, we don't want to waste it. It's fine temperature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right here and just keep this open so that we can pump that water out somewhere and make use of it later on. But as soon as the dupe creates or cuts this away, we're back out here and we're able to start constructing this rocket. So now that I've got all these critters down there, they're in the shearing station, so we're going to get in even more reed fiber, which is awesome. What I want to do is still be able to drop eggs off here, but I don't want the hydrogen to escape. So we're going to put a little bit of liquid right here. So we dropped, or created a wall right here. We want to specifically select directlet eggs and glossy type. Be dropped off here at high priority. So if I had more metal, I would use the auto sweepers. We're just not there yet, so continuing to use this mechanism, but the dupes can't access this, so they can all go and drop stuff off. These critters, when they're born, they're able to get out, explore this area, and they've got essentially access to hydrogen to respawn their scales. This liquid is going to actually prevent hydrogen from going up. Only downsides, I think, they're not accessing hydrogen when they're in these two tiles. But other than that, I mean, I think I'm going to get far more enough. Both plastic and reed fiber. So I'm really not too concerned. But main thing is, we have this rocket opened up. I think I'm going to leave it there, but next time I'm going to be expanding and creating a living area, life support system, and all of that. And then eventually, we're going to be firing this rocket off for use on the moonlit clusters. So thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and I will see you next time.